Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my Xenon progression series. Today we are going to be preparing for two things. The first thing, of course, I've been talking about this in the last part, is we are going to be having a double miracle time very soon. So that'll be in the second half of today's video, because as of recording right now, the double miracle time will be tomorrow, and we are looking forward to being able to get both our top and bottom to legendary and maybe also our cape. A lot of gains to happen on the horizon, and I'm pretty excited for it because these are basically permanent gear. The CRA we're never going to replace really. As for the cape, I'm not too sure if I want to push it to legendary or just leave it at unique even. I guess we'll just see what happens first. Before we go too far, let's have a quick look at some of the things that I've done on this character in terms of its gear upgrades. I'm not sure if I mentioned in the previous part, but we are currently sitting at full meso and full drop gear right now. So I am very comfortably training and making a good amount of meso per hour while I train as well. Currently I am training in Last Horizon 4 in the Arcane River. It's been giving me pretty good rates, so definitely getting up there with my meso, and I have been spending some of it. I have about 3.5 bill at the moment, and I spent a good amount of it just basically trying to reroll some of my gear. One of the things I decided to reroll was actually my secondary. You can see here, I got it to legendary, and now it's currently sitting on 40% boss damage and 12% attack. Ideally, it would be 2 lines of attack, but because this is 2 prime lines, 2 legendary lines, I'm pretty happy to just settle on this. Currently, my combat power is roughly 12 million, so I did gain a little bit thanks to this change in my secondary. I believe the boss damage boosts the combat power quite a lot, so I'm not so sure how much stronger I am in terms of my damage, but hey, the combat power went up, so surely we do our bosses a little bit easier. In terms of doing our bosses a little bit easier, I have done some upgrades on my IA. Originally, my IA was Meso obtained, which is really nice. I got this, I think, from Miracle Circulator, and it's a big part of the reason why we make so much money while training. And I decided to try to go for a second line of legendary because this class does need attack speed +1. And I ended up actually hitting this item drop rate. Item drop rate is pretty useful for breaking the box at the end of bosses, just to give us an extra chance to get items, whether it be Dom Pendants or superior items. And then because these 2 lines are pretty useful, I decided to go for a third inner ability preset, and we actually did manage to hit attack speed +1 on stream. This attack speed +1 inner ability is the best in slot for Xenon, and it is pretty rare, honestly. I cannot believe I managed to hit it so cheap on stream. I've spent a lot of money on this on my Cannon Master, if you guys have been following that series, and I still haven't seen it yet. So being able to get attack speed +1 for basically nothing is an insane boost for this account. Now I can spend the rest of my honor rolling for the secondary lines, which might be expensive, but at the end of the day, the main thing I was looking for was this attack speed +1. So I'm very happy that I managed to get it pretty cheap. Thanks to all the little gains that I've made and the attack speed +1 IA, I decided to try my luck in Hard Will and Hard Lucid. As you guys can see here, I have cleared Lucid and Will, and the reason why I was able to do this was because I decided to trade bosses with a friend of mine. The way that trading bosses works, each of us will take each other's mules, and we will just wait for the characters to do the 5% required in the boss, and then clear the boss afterwards. This way, both of us have a chance of getting arcane boxes, while not losing too much on meso, because we split the meso 50% both ways. For me, the most important part were these droplets. This is the most consistent part about trading bosses, and just being able to wait 4 weeks for an arcane piece, instead of 5 or 6 weeks if you get unlucky on normal Lucid and normal Will. This is just a consistent way of getting your arcane gear. So I'll be training with my friend until we can both get our arcane gears. On top of that, because both of our mains don't really need any of the other drops, we are able to also trade our mules Twilight Marks. We were very lucky enough for me to be able to get a Twilight Mark off of Hard Lucid. I also got my friend a Twilight Mark from Lucid. It was a nice 1-for-1 trade, and this will just benefit both of us while not really stalling any of our progress. Originally, I was planning to play this Xenon in full solo, but I think because I've already done a full solo on my Battle Mage, I'm pretty happy using all the resources I have, and trading carries is definitely part of that. My main goal right now is to be able to do enough damage to participate in Chaos Gloom. Right now it's looking a little bit rough because in Hard Will we did have to stay in it for quite a bit longer. I had to do a lot of extra bursts in Will to make sure that I didn't get pushed out into the red threshold. So right now, I'm just trying to see if I can get as strong as I can to be able to clear Gloom before the end of the week. The ideal situation is after DMT, we have 3 items at Legendary and 2 lines or so. And then if I get lucky enough to get maybe a drop from Golix, we might be able to get a superior piece that will allow us to get a good amount of damage as well. Until then though, I think the easiest overall gain would just to be leveling up. Chaos Gloom is a level 255 boss, and I'm currently at 248, meaning that I get a lot of damage from actually just leveling up, so then we get less of a final damage penalty. On top of that, I think my arcane symbols are not quite there yet as well for Gloom. I have 930 arcane force, and for Gloom he has a minimum of 730. This will mean that if I want to do extra damage to the boss, I will need to level up my arcane force just a little bit more. So what I will have to probably do is actually put some points into my arcane power. I believe if I put a little bit more into this, I should be able to get a little bit more of a damage bonus. This should just help me get to the 5% just that much easier. For now though, let's upgrade this Twilight Mark. It's just got nothing on it. I think the flame I spent a little bit of money on is pretty okay, but I kind of want to Star Force this up at least to 16. We got it to 16 pretty cheap, and I think I'm just going to leave it here for the time being. I don't want to accidentally overspend on this Twilight Mark if I can help it. Because I do know that this is going to be basically permanent damage gear, I'm kind of willing to also try to push this in terms of its cubing to Legendary. It might cost a little bit to get to Legendary, but overall it'll help me get closer to the threshold for Chaos Gloom and just make the rest of my weeklies just that bit easier. I don't have that much money, but let's see if we can get this to Legendary. This is at Legendary with a pretty decent potential. I think, though, I will probably still roll this off. It is a little bit better than my Condensed Power Crystal, but I'm not having too much trouble training at the moment, and I would like to have the Twilight Mark being full damage gear. I'm going to spend a little bit of money just using these glowing cubes and see if we can get it to be a little bit better than it is at the moment. Okay, we managed to hit 2 lines of all stat. I think this will be good enough for the time being, and this should be a pretty decent damage upgrade from our current Condensed Power Crystal as well. You can see here is about 200k range, and our combat power used to be 12 mil, and now it is sitting at 12.3. So we gain a little bit from that. It's pretty decent. Just working our way up in terms of our damage, and we'll just have to see where we go from here. Thankfully, that was overall pretty cheap. I think I spent maybe 400 mil getting that to Legendary. Got very lucky on the Legendary tier up. Didn't take too much this time. And that marks actually the first piece of damage gear on our account. It's very exciting. It's the first of, I guess, another 8 more accessories to go. Okay guys, today is finally DMT. We have our double miracle time now to try to go for our legendaries, hopefully for cheap, on a bunch of our equipment like we said earlier in the video. But just before we go into the double miracle time, I did want to just show one thing that I've done on stream, and that was I've been working on my familiars a little bit more. I have been training a lot and also trying to get a bunch of money. Currently sitting on 4 bill today for our double miracle time, but I do have a bunch of epic familiars, and I managed to hit this increased item drop familiar. It's not a large item drop, but I'm very happy that I managed to hit a drop familiar. This will just give us a little bit more in trying to get some of our gear, trying to get the superior drops from Golix and of course our Dom pendants. So yeah, that is my small update on my familiars, and now on to the main thing of today. We're going to try to tier up our things to Legendary. We have 3 items here, and yeah, we'll just hope for the best here. We're just gonna probably go around in a circle. We'll go get everything to unique and then slowly everything to legendary. We'll just see how it goes. I'll start off by buying 50 cubes, and hopefully this will be enough. It is a bit ambitious to use 50 cubes to get 3 tier ups to legendary, but hey, double miracle time, anything can happen. And there we go, within about 50 cubes, we did manage to get all 3 of them to Legendary. I'm very happy with this, it was a lot cheaper than I expected. And overall, this means that we are able to spend more money to be able to use our glowing cubes and re-roll them for proper potentials. I am still kind of learning what I'm supposed to settle on these items. So I think I'm just going to roll for what looks good on a glance, and then I'll probably fix them at another time. Again, the Xenon uses 3 different stats, so I'm hoping for 2 lines of all stat ideally. That would be the best case scenario, similar to my Twilight Mark here. And yeah, I guess if we hit 9 all stat, 6 all stat, that'd be the best case. But I don't want to spend too much because ideally I would like to save for Star Forcing. So just after spending a little bit of money on the cubes, I managed to hit 2 lines of all stat on my cape, which is the best case scenario here for us. I also managed to hit 9% all stat and luck, and then 9% all stat and strength. Again, I'm not really sure if it's worth re-rolling a bit further than this. So let me have a quick look to see on maybe the Xenon Discord or online to see if there are better ways to go about cubing. Again, I am still kind of new on the Xenon things, and all these things are kind of all over the place for me. At a quick glance at the Xenon Discord, ideally we would like to go for 2 lines of all stat if possible, even if it is just 6 and 6. So I'm going to try and re-roll these a little bit further, and we'll see how it goes. So I managed to roll a few more cubes and we landed on basically what we started off with. It's a little bit more difficult than I had expected to get 2 lines of Orstat, but given the fact that these are my CRA pieces, I think I'm okay just sending it a little bit more. I do have another 65 more cubes because I bought about another 100. I'm gonna see just where we land. Might be a little bit greedy, but hey, I think it's not too hard to try to get back 9 stat and 9% luck or something like that. Oh my god, guys, we actually hit 3-line All-Stat. Oh my god, it actually happened. What? Yo, this is the first time I've hit 3-line All-Stat and been happy with it. That is ridiculous. Oh my god. I cannot believe I hit 3 lines of All-Stat like that. I am so happy. That is exactly what I wanted. Well, I guess we can just happily re-roll this top. I think no matter what happens to this top, I'm gonna be overall happy. 3 lines of All-Stat, and we managed to get it as well on our CRA piece, so this won't get replaced anytime soon. We actually finished the entire item. I am so happy right now. I'm just gonna spend the rest of these cubes and just hope for the best now. I cannot believe we hit 3-line All-Stat like that. Okay, we are running out of cubes here, and I kind of don't want to spend too much more on money to buy more cubes, and I'm pretty happy with this. This isn't ideal, but hey, we'll take it. 12, 9, and 6. This is pretty good for most strength classes, but for Xenon, I think this is a little bit higher than 2 lines of 6% All-Stat. Very similar to my Twilight Mark, if my understanding is correct. It looks good for a strength class, but unfortunately for Xenon, it's alright. Overall though, I'm very happy with the gains that we've made. 2 All-Stat lines on our cape as we had hoped. We managed to hit 3 lines of All-Stat on our pants, which is actually so insane. The chances of 3-line All-Stat is so low, and we got a reasonable line for Xenon on our top as well. Super happy. We managed to get our legendaries really cheap. We got insane gains on our items, and yeah, I cannot believe this happened on the pants. It's ridiculous. It's so difficult to get 3 lines All-Stat intentionally. Switching over into our damaged Lynx and Legion, we went from about 12.3 mil combat power to 13.2 mil combat power. 1 whole million. That is a good amount of extra damage. Hopefully this will help me out a lot more with my bossing. I am hoping to be able to get a Chaos Gloom run in before the end of the week. I'm not really sure what extra gains I could make. Perhaps I can get an extra star here on the Twilight Mark and on this cape. But again, I'm just really happy that we managed to get some really strong gains across these 3 items. Very happy with it. And just to round off this video, we have made some good amount of EXP gains after the DMT as well. You can see here I am level 251 now, which is quite a nice jump. After our DMT, I went on a big grinding spree. You can see currently now I'm at 65% at level 251. 1 whole level, and that was thanks to the Sunny Sunday that we just had that gave us a lot of extra EXP for training and for rune. And more recently, we managed to get our Monster Park runs that gave us almost 50% across 7 runs. Actually so insane how much XP they gave us, and thanks to that we did manage to get our new Hyperburning rewards. On level 250 we get access to another 100 symbols, 2 XP node stones, and this amazing title. This title I believe is just as good as the one that I'm currently using, the Eternal Flame one, so maybe once this Eternal Flame runs out, or is about to run out, I might claim the Hyperburning one. That way we can keep using the amazing set bonus from it. Because I'm at 65%, I'm actually not that far away from leveling to 254. If I do manage to get to 254 by the end of the week, I will be able to attempt Chaos Gloom without too much of a damage penalty. So this will be a pretty reasonable goal for me, although 35% is quite a lot to go. Hopefully I'll be able to get there. I mean, not that much of a rush, mostly because I am still enjoying my time training in Last Horizon 4 and working on my familiars. I haven't managed to hit anything too interesting recently, but I did get 2 healing fams, so at least now if I do get into a hard will or a hard V healer at some point, I do have my own healing fams, and also they'll help out my team members a lot too. Anyway guys, that'll be all for today's video. We have made a lot of gains today, and I'm super excited to see what goes on next. After the reset, we'll be able to do a lot of extra things. Hopefully we'll be able to clear some more bosses, maybe we'll get some more drops, and who knows, maybe we'll get an arcane item as well. If you guys have been enjoying the series so far, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you do enjoy the videos, please give them a like. It helps me out a lot. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you all in the next one.